Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. My name is Mikhail Tinubu. It's Wednesday, so you have me this morning. I'm joined by Sayo Oguntoye.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning, Shaya. We have some important, excellent sports news this morning. We'll talk about the Nigerian Super Eagles manager. Of course, a legend is also retiring, and we'll talk more on that. And we'll wrap it up with something a little fun and maybe even a little inspiring. So, in Nigeria, Gernot Rohr, the coach of the Super Eagles, is likely to receive a large portion of the money he is owed. The German tactician will be paid for 7 of the 8 months he is owed by the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF. Rohr has been working without the compensation for more than 8 months, but a source has revealed that the former Burkina Faso coach would be paid on time, just in time for Nigeria's 2022 World Cup qualifiers against the Central African Republic. The NFF's partner, Aito, which is in charge of paying the coaches, has now agreed to pay the German tactician's salary. Goalkeeper coach Aloy Agu and assistant coach Joseph Yobo are also set to receive their salaries. Now, obviously, Shia, this is it's good a coach is getting paid, but it's also terrible that they're owing him up to 8 months in the first place. I wonder, is this a reason why the NFF have had very little leverage in controlling the way Gernot Rohr has managed the Nigerian national team?
Well, to start with, let me say I see this more like a bittersweet news. You owe someone 8 months' salary and you are paying 7 months out of those 8 months. Well, it's a good news to him. When he gets paid, he can now smile to the bank. But having said that, I also think it's really uncalled for. Which serious-minded coach will want to come to Nigeria to coach the Super Eagles when he knows he is going to have a backlog of old unpaid salaries? I mean, and you expect optimum performances from Gernot Rohr. How is it done? And that's why sometimes raising accusing fingers on Gernot Rohr is not the way forward, because he's human too. He has feelings the same way we have feelings. And when he misses or draws some games, then we start pointing that accusing finger on him, not remembering the fact that he's being owed salaries.
You know, one thing I worry about is that if this was any other coach, he might have chosen to step down from his position, but then that would have created the kind of situation where he might have sued the NFF, thereby bringing more attention to the fact that such large amounts of salaries being owed to a manager, thereby making the position harder to fill. What does it say about us as a nation, that there's so much money flying around within sports and government, and yet our manager, our national team manager, whatever we have, whatever kind of problems you may have with him, the way he manages the team, the way he picks his players, whatever you might think of him, what does it say about us that we're owing such amounts of money, and the position that it puts us in the eyes of the world and coaches who might be on our short list for managing us?
Well, when it comes to our image in the international world, we are a laughingstock. I want to say that, and I'll say it again. We are a laughingstock. Now, the Super Eagles is the biggest brand in football in Nigeria here. And we're talking about the biggest brand who still have 8 months' salaries of the coaches old. Now, what happens to those who are not, like the Super Falcons, the Golden Eaglets? That means they are being owed substantial amount of money too.
Based on what you just said, it reminds me of the situations we've talked about in the past of club footballers being owed a lot of money, back salary. If this is happening at the very highest level, what hope do they have? How can the NFF manage our league properly if they are not cleaning their own house?
Absolutely. And that gives us the reasons why we do not see high-profile managers or coaches coming to coach for Nigeria. You cannot see the Jose Mourinho's, the Pep Guardiolas coming down to Africa and pinpointly now Nigeria to come coach because they know it's not going to be rosy for them. So the politics plays its own part here, and Gernot is aware of all this. That's why he feels to still continue with the Nigerian mentality, with the Nigerian national team too.
All right, let's go to boxing. WBC World Heavyweight Champions Tyson Fury and challenger Deontay Wilder arrived in Las Vegas, Nevada on Tuesday, October 5th, ahead of their third fight at the weekend. The two clashed for the first time in a 2018 bout that ended in a draw. Their rematch in Las Vegas 2020 ended with a stoppage victory for Fury in the 7th round, with Fury sending Wilder to the canvas twice en route to the win. Fury, nicknamed the Gypsy King, is currently the WBC World Champion with 30 wins and 1 draw from 31 professional bouts, and is favorites for Saturday's October 9th fight. Fury has taken exception to charges of cheating by Wilder during their last fight, taking aim at the American in Tuesday night's arrival ceremony. Now, this fight is highly anticipated. Who do you believe wins in this Shire?
Wow. Who will win between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder?
I know it's a tough one to call. Many spectators are they're going nuts trying to figure it out. Obviously, Wilder has a lot to prove coming back for this third match. This is his final opportunity. The first bout ended in a draw. The second one, a loss for Wilder. This is the chance to make up for that. And at the very least, if he wins, it's a 1-1 on the scoreboard with 1 draw. So maybe not too bad in reflection. But the Gypsy King has held on to the belt for so long now. Is there the likelihood that he lets his guard down against a Wilder that has such powerful punches?
Well, I don't think he's going to let his guard down. He knows what Deontay Wilder is capable of doing, and having beaten him the last time they actually got into the ring, he knows Deontay is coming with full force this time, so he's well prepared. And I love the post-match conference he actually put out, where he said if Deontay wants to look at the mirror, it is Fury he sees. If he wants to sleep, it is the Gypsy King he sees. He went straight into psychology there, and I think it might have an effect, really.
But then there is a thing about having a point to prove. Deontay probably has more of a point to prove, and I believe that he will be actually the one bringing the Fury to the ring on when they meet.
It will be a very difficult one, no doubt about it. Deontay is strong, is powerful too. Fury also has some heavy punches. So this Saturday it's going to be an amazing one. But I think Fury will still have an edge over this one.
Well, Wilder for me seems, in the recent interviews of him that I have watched, he seems more calm. Like there's a calm to the storms that have plagued him for years. He's seems more focused, and even if he loses, I believe he will probably accept the loss with more aplomb than in the past.
Yeah, he is trying not to make the same mistakes as he made in the last fight, knowing that this fight, the Trilogy fight, this one should be the last of the two of them. I don't think there will be any rematch after this one. So he's just trying to listen to his instructors, his trainers, what they have to say. They've watched the clips of the first 2 fights and they've seen errors of Wilder himself. So they want to improve on Wilder and see how he can actually defeat Fury in this last fight.
All right. UEFA unveiled the official logo for Euro 2024 to be staged in Germany at a launch on Tuesday, October 5th at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. UEFA President Alexander Keferin said he was confident the special competition would be the best Euro ever. The tournament logo is derived from UEFA's 55-member association's flag and their colors, which assemble in various combinations, reflecting the shape of the Olympia Stadium roof. The famous Henry Deloney Cup features at the center of the logo, while the 24 colored slices around the trophy represent the 24 participating teams. The 51 Euro 2024 matches will be held across 10 host venues in Germany in June and July 2024, with the full match schedule set to be confirmed in early 2022. Jamaica's Olympic and World Championship medalist Nesta Carter, whose positive doping test caused Usain Bolt to be stripped of his Beijing 2008 Olympic 4x100 meters relay gold, has tested positive again and faces an anti-doping hearing next week. Confirmation of the now retired Carter's positive test came from the chairman of the Jamaica Anti-Doping Disciplinary Panel and the sprinter's lawyer, Stuart Stimson Gammon, who declined to name the banned substance, said the disciplinary hearing will start on October 14th. Stimson declined to provide any details on the substance or the circumstances surrounding Carter's positive test. The latest anti-doping violation comes 3 years after Carter lost his appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sports, CAS, against the International Olympic Committee's decision to strip him and the rest of the Jamaica men's sprint relay team, comprising both Asafa Powell and Michael Frater of their gold medals from the 2008 Beijing Games. In August, 35-year-old Carter issued a news release saying he had retired due to a private medical condition which had hindered him from training and competing since March 2021. He indicated at the time that a medication prescribed by his doctor to treat the condition violated anti-doping rules, and as such, he had chosen his health over athletics. Carter has a personal best of 9.78 seconds for the 100 meters, which ranks as the 9th fastest time ever and the 4th best by a Jamaican sprinter in history. Sayo. Obviously, we've heard a lot about doping allegations, anti-doping scandals going on in the news recently. The Blessing of Karagbe situation is still very fresh. A recent investigation in the US has been launched regarding that. Now this as well. This is the second time he has been found to be positive, even though he is retired now. And obviously, you have to wonder, what does this mean? Especially since so many, you saw there that 3 other athletes, 3 other Jamaican sprinters, all lost their gold in 2008 Beijing because of this situation. What does it mean? I mean, he is already retired. What does it mean? What could they possibly do now?
Well, what they can do is to impose stiffer sanctions on athletes found positive with doping substances. My position is always straight when it comes to this. Imagine Usain Bolt, for example, who won in the relay race in Belgian Olympic 2008. All of a sudden, he has to be stripped of this medal because of Qatar's testing positive to banned substances. I don't think it's fair on Usain Bolt and others who took part in the 4-man relay race. So, having said that, I think Qatar should face the penalty. Though he's retired now from athletics, but I think he should be stripped of all medals, and then heavier sanctions should be imposed on him. This is the second time it's happening, and it's not a mistake. So I think listening to excuses they give. Oh, the doctor says I took my wife's medications. All these are flimsy excuses. You know the
You
law. The
know,
law is the law.
Shayo, given what you just said, this doping situation, it highlights the fact that it's not just the player or the athlete that suffers, it's also the team. This is a
Absolutely.
perfect example. Aside from the reputational damage that it causes for the team, we see here the very real, very physical impact. Usain Bolt is down one medal, and for the others who maybe couldn't compete in any other relay form because that was what they trained for, and Usain Bolt was the number one sprinter in the team, so he took on the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 400 might have been the only relay they could train for, they could participate in, and Carter has cost them their medals.
It's really so sad. It's really so sad, and maybe like I said, stiffer sanctions so that in the future, whoever wants to go into doping should remember that, oh, if I do this, I will face the penalty, so penalty will imposed on me. So I think it's very very rampant when it comes to athletics. Remember Marion Jones too of United States, who has so many gold medals at the Olympics. All of a sudden, we had to know that she was taking some banned substances which improved her performances, and it was really so sad for her. So she actually lost all those medals too. So I mean, stiffer sanctions should be imposed on these athletes. That's my take on it.
All right, Shayo. We move now to a more lighter-hearted story. Something happening in Uganda that brings a kind of smile to my heart. Now, every morning and evening, children get to punch, sprint, and push up at the Kimenli Fitness Club in Wakiso District, central Uganda. They are students of 30-year-old Manisuru Kiza, who fell in love with the martial art from after watching Jet Li movies as a teenager. Kiza runs the club in his backyard, where he trains children aged between 5 and 16 years. Many students are girls, encouraged by their parents to gain self-defense skills. Kiza grew up in an informal settlement in Kampala and says he had to learn at an early age to ward off muggers. The Kung Fu master says he wants his students who live in similar neighborhoods to learn skills that can help them protect themselves. Kiza says he had 25 students before the pandemic, but the numbers have since dropped. But the classes are free of charge. Among students on the program is Kiza's 5-year-old daughter, Asfa Nakilija. Kiza, who's previously trained in kickboxing, became so skilled that by 2009 he started starring in movies made by Wakaliwood, a Ugandan low-budget action film company. Kung Fu is not presently in Olympic sport, but promoters are fighting for its inclusion. It is an event at the Youth Olympic Games. Now, Shayo, I don't even want to imagine running into any of those girls in a dark alley. They might confuse me for a mugger, and I definitely want to warn off any mugger thinking of harming any of those children. They will definitely receive a training in the martial arts.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those are funny pictures. I was able to see them myself, and then knowing that little children from age 5 to 16 were, in attendance, they're partaking in the kung fu. And the funniest thing about it is that it's free of charge. I mean, he gave his reasons why this thing is like that, because he wants the female folks to be able to defend themselves against rapists
We don't
and
have much
others.
time, Shayo, so I will ask this final question, yes or no answer. Should this martial arts, kung fu, should it be in the Olympics? Yes or no?
Yes, it should be in the Olympics. It
All
should
right.
be, yes.
All right. I definitely agree with that. Thank you for joining us this morning, Sayo.
Always a pleasure.
Oh,
Always.
enjoy the rest of your day. And to
And you
everyone
too.
at home, I am Mikhail Tinubu. Thank you for joining us this morning on Plus Sports, on Plus TV Africa. Remember, life is never boring with some sports.